Hi everyone, this is Mohi from Singapore Maths Academy. I'm going to take you through this question that our parents sent over to us. Bit of a challenging year 5 question from school, and so we need to make sure we really understand this each step and therefore fully understand the question. So let's jump on to our question and try to figure this out. So we've got a question here that says, Mrs. Smith has some glue sticks. In week 1, she gives out 30% of her glue sticks. In week 2, she gives out 50% of her remaining glue sticks. In week 3, she gives out 2/7 of her remaining glue sticks again. And then at the end of week 1, she had 171 more glue sticks than she did at the end of week 3. Quite a lot to take in, right? How many glue sticks did Mrs. Smith have at the start of the week? So what I've done is I'm going to write week 1 here. And I've just drawn a bar model that has 100%, which means the full amount of the glue sticks she's had, from week 1, from the beginning of week 1 anyway. And so week 1, she's got this amount. And I know she gives out 30%, right? So she gives out these 3 10%, which makes 30%. So I'm just going to highlight that as red so that we know that she's given this out. And therefore we can see that she's got 7 lots of 10% left, which is 70%. So she gives out 30%. And she's got 70% left. 70%. There we are. She's got 70% left. So what's the next step then? Well, the next step is for us to be able to work out what happens in week 2. So week 2, she gives out 50% of her remaining sticks. And the key word here is this remaining, because a lot of children kind of neglect that word or don't even recognize that word in the sentence. And so what happens is they just take 50% out. So instead of having 50% of the 70%, they take 50% out of the whole, which is 100%, and therefore you've got 50%, 30%, you've got 80% taken, is gone, right? The glue sticks, 80% of the glue sticks have gone. That's not what it's saying, right? It's saying out of all of this remaining, the 70%, 50% of this has gone to, or some children, I'm guessing, if she gives out, so she's given out 50% of the remaining. So I know there's 7 equal parts here. So 50% of the 7 is going to be 3.5. So that must mean that she gives out 35% of, in week 2, she's going to give out 35%, right, of the whole amount, or 50% of what's remaining. Okay, so now, therefore, I'm going to have something like this. I'm going to have these 3 and half of this. I'm going to duplicate that. Let's see if I can try to do that here. So week 2 is going to look like this. I'm not going to have the full amount here. I'm going to have half of this. So I might duplicate that, turn that red, and therefore, and try to halve this somehow. Let's see if I can halve that. Something like that should do. And so this is gone now, right? That half has gone. And so now we've got this amount left, which is 35%, right? That's 35%. 35% of what? 35% of the whole amount she had at the beginning, right, of week 1. Not at the end, beginning of week 1. So now she's got 35% left. That's gone. That's not there. Okay. And now in week, week 3 now. So going on a bit, right? So week 3, so right, week 3 here. Week 3, she gives 2/7. Now, these 3 whole pieces plus the half are not equal, right? At this moment, they're not equal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them equal. So how do I make them equal? Well, I know it's a half a piece. So I can just split each of these whole pieces, right, whole bars, into half a bar. So something looking like that. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 equal pieces. That works perfectly for me. Why? Because it says in the question, in week 3, she gives out 2/7. And that means week 3, what we're going to look at is the fact that she's given 2 of these pieces away. So she's going to have basically 2 wholes and a half of these whole pieces. And so I'm going to have something like that. And I'm going to try to copy this if I can, duplicate that, and get rid of that piece here. Okay, so we had 7 half pieces. Now we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 half pieces. This piece is gone, ignore that piece. And so now I've got this amount, right? We don't know how much that is at the moment, but that's fine. That's not a problem because we don't need to know, right? But having said that, if we wanted to work that out, we can divide 35 by 7. What's 35 divided by 7? 35 divided by 7 is 5, right? And so these pieces must be 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, 25, 30, 35%. So this represents 35% of the amount she had at the beginning. And now she was taking 2/7, which is equivalent to 10% of the amount she had at the beginning. Okay, amount of glue sticks she had at the beginning. So that's not super important at the moment, but we can therefore say that she's got 25% left. Okay, she's got 25% left. We can think of it that way. Right, now the key part. Okay, it says here at the end of week 1 she had 171. Okay, sorry, is that right? At the end of week 1 she had 171, or should I continue reading? Because that seems like at the end of week 1 70% is equal to 171, but it doesn't stop there, right? At the end of week 1 she had 171 more sticks, right, glue sticks, than she did at the end of week 3. Okay, so at the end of week 1 she had 171 more sticks than the end of week 3. We can see that week 3, I'm going to try to show you in using, I don't know, purple maybe. We can see in week 3, at the end of week 3, she's got 2 whole bars and a half. So 2 whole bars and a half, what is that going to look like here? Let me see if I can get rid of these lines. Yeah, perfect. Ooh, very awkward here. There we are, perfect. Okay, right. So let's see if I can draw this out. So I've got 2.5 bars at the end of week 3. So 2.5 bars is about here, right? So let me try to draw that. So this is the end of week 3. So the difference between week 3 and how much she had at the end of week 1 is all of these, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 half bars, right? So 9 half bars. So we can call each half bar 9 units. So this represents 171 because it says she had 171 more glue sticks at the end of week 1 than week 3. And so up to here, they have the same number of glue sticks, and the rest is how much more she had at the end of week 1. So 171 represents 9 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 units is equal to 171. 1 unit is therefore 171 divided by 9. I know 9 times 2 is 18, so 9 times 20 is 180. And so if I take away another 9, 180 take away 9 is 171. And therefore, this is going to be 1 unit is equal to 20 take away 1 is 19. Right. So 1 unit is 19. If 1 unit is 19, and I know every 2 units, right, must represent 10% because I've made it out that way, right, at the beginning. Every 2 units is 10%. And so therefore, 19 times 2 units is going to be 38. If 2 units are 38 and 2 units represents 10%, so we can say 10% of the amount she had at the beginning is 38, and therefore 100% of the amount she had at the beginning must be 380. There's different ways we can end that, but that's one way we can think of to kind of solve this problem. So here, our final answer is 100% is 380, and therefore we can work out that how many glue sticks did Mrs. Smith have at the start of the week? She had 380. And then you can work out, if you wanted to, if you have some time, work backwards. 380 take away 30%. That's how much she had at the end of week 1. Work out how much she had at the end of week 2, which is half of that. And then work out how much she has at the end of week 3 and so forth. And then you can check if it all works out that she's got 171 more in week 1 than week 2. So hopefully that makes sense to you, and you can kind of work out where you might have gone wrong in the way you've tried to solve this, or maybe you haven't actually at all attempted this using bar modeling and you somehow managed to get it right, that could be a possibility. But this was a challenging one, so it's likely that you might have found it a struggle. Let us know if you found the bar modeling process easy to understand. It is a bit of a long and lengthy kind of solution here for this one, and hopefully each part needs to be understood. Now, if you haven't had much bar modeling experience, then it's worthwhile going for our bar modeling course for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and that way you get to really understand bar modeling, the core of it. And then our second phase bar modeling course has the fractions, percentage, ratio as well. So I'll see you next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.